Hello, fellow RVers, truck camper enthusiasts. Today we are going to install a solenoid valve that is going to allow hot water to pass beyond the kitchen sink and recirculate it back down into the main freshwater tank. And the reason is that I have to run a pint to a quart of water when I want to get hot water at the sink to wash hands, do dishes, and every time you do that, you can put it into a bucket and sort later, but how many buckets can you set aside to use later? What I'm going to do is set up a valve with a momentary push switch that will turn it on, and you just hold the button in for about 10 seconds. That will let water flow through the hot line into the fresh tank and circulate hot water until it is hot at the kitchen sink and all the other outlets for that matter. So what it's going to do is it's going to save water in the fresh tank, and it's also going to prevent water from going down into the gray tank through the drain. So it's kind of a win-win situation. Parts were $68 I think, and I bought, well, let me take that back. It was $60 for the switch and the solenoid valve. Here is the solenoid valve. It is made by US Solid. It's a stainless steel body. I wanted to get something that would last really well. And then we have shark bite fittings, just because shark bite is an easy fitting to use in this situation. And then the shark bite fittings, I have 3 elbows, 2 male thread to half-inch pecks, and then I've got 1 T, and then a section of red PEX pipe hidden way back there in the corner. You can see it across the front too. First trick is to remove the step. So the step already has 1, 2, 3, 4 screws in it. Then you have to get up here and move the step out. And it's, unfortunately, it's a pretty tight fit, but with a little persuasion you can get it out of there. Okay, so let me see if I can pull this out here now. Almost got it. Okay. There we go, got it. So we can put the step out of the way. Okay, these are the pipes that we already did. This is the vent line, and this is the city water connection. So if I have connect up to city water, it'll go through here, and I have all these with the dense foam insulation over it. And then I've got insulation on the propane line here too, and that is just to hold the propane line in position so that it isn't bouncing around. Okay, and then I'll just show you inside here under the fridge. If you can see back there, there is the outlet that I put in. The water used to be on this side, and I just didn't like having it on the right side because all the utilities are on the left side. So now I've got that outlet over here, and I can plug fans, radios, lights in over here while I'm camped and enjoy that, instead of having the hose or whatever connected up to this side and looking at utility stuff. So much more usable. That return line is going to come down through here, and then it's going to I think I'm going to drop it down either here or here, whichever works best. But so the trick with this is, you see my shutoff valve right here. Okay, that is the shutoff valve to the drain for the tank, and that pipe goes out the back past the back end bed of the truck and then drains out onto the ground. And so right now I have the tank is totally drained, and what I am going to do is I'm going to try to reposition these things, but I want to put the T for the connection is going to go here in this area, and then it'll come up and over to the kitchen sink faucet, and then to get around that pump I might have to turn the valve here 45 degrees toward me, and that way it won't interfere when I turn the valve handle. But anyway, when that valve is closed, the water will just come from the faucet down to this and flow into the tank. And then when the drain is opened, then obviously the water will just drain out like normal. It'll drain down through the line from the kitchen sink, and everything in the tank will drain out too. So it'll work out really good. It kind of almost gives a double drain, a air brake for the water in the lines. Okay, so let us get going on this. I'll get back with you when I have some things to show you. I'm just going to undo the pipe there and turn it around, and then put my shark bite fitting on it. Okay, and then the same in here. When I get the sink off, I will bring that to you too and show you what I've done. Okay, so I will see you in a bit. Okay, so here's a quick diagram of what is going to happen here. So here is the sink up here and the water heater. So water comes, hot water from the water heater comes up here, and we're going to put a T here, and then there's going to be a line that goes down to a solenoid valve here, and then that valve has a control button here that when you have to push it to hold it, it'll only operate while you are pushing it. It's a momentary switch. So that will open the circuit for the water here. It'll make the valve open, and that will allow water to flow the rest of the way and back into the freshwater tank. And so when you open this valve, it allows pressure. It opens this, pressure behind drops, which kicks on the water pump. So that's kind of one of the key things you have to do, is make sure that when you do this, the pressure in the system drops to make the water pump turn on. So water will pump, go through the water heater, up to the sink, and then down through the solenoid valve and back into the freshwater tank. And that is how we get a recirculating line, so that we can get hot water up to the sink without wasting it down the drain. Okay, so just should be able to imagine your own system and put it together into yours. The trick is to get it from the hot water valve or the kitchen sink hot water back into your fresh tank. Okay, so I'm going to start working on this now. I have Miss Poppy is helping here. Hi, Poppy. You being a good helper? Poppy. She sees the cord on the camera, so she's interested in that. Hey, how about a sniff? Give a sniff. Good girl. She's still really active. Short attention span. Teenagers these days. Okay, so let me get started on that. I got to pull the sink out and run the pipes through here and make the connection down below. Okay, I'll get back with you. I had to pull out the breaker fuse panel, and that's fine though, because I need to get in here and connect the new switch for the solenoid valve. These two wires here, I need that, need to hook up the power line for that. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna have to put the switch right up over here because I don't have any more room over there. Yeah, having this out is gonna make it a lot easier to pull this. Well, actually I'm not gonna pull it, I'm gonna put a, oh, what is this? Oh, that's a T there. Yeah, I wish I had another T, but I don't. Okay, so let me continue on. Okay, so I am going to take it off for the rest of the day, but what I need to do is, I was going to put a PEX T or a Shark Bite T here, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to try and locate one of these here plastic tees that has the side out is 1/2-inch pipe, and then it's PEX connections through. So what I want to do is get another one here, and that will be a much easier way to make the connection cleaner looking and so forth. And then I can just come across and down and over. But so here is the oven. Had to pull that out to get access in here. Another thing I want to do is, you see this here loop of a wire, I'm gonna yank that out of the box and bring it under with the wire next to it, and then I'll be able to pull this electrical box out. You see how the wire wraps on there, and that's preventing me from being able to get the wire out and servicing. So I'll do that tomorrow. And then also I took out the sink strainers here, and the way they had installed them is they put these rubber gaskets in here on the top, and the problem is that there was always water pooled. It didn't just roll right down into the drain. So I took that off, put the rubber gaskets on this side, and I've got some silicone sealant in there. So I'm just going to leave the sealant on there and let it dry overnight, and however long. I'm in no rush to put it back together. I got my propane tanks are turned off. Here is the propane line that feeds the oven. So I think we are pretty much set and done for the day. So that's what I gotta do, get that plastic tee, and it looks like this. The this goes in to the PEX, and the PEX fits over it tightly, and then the nut there screws on and has a cone fit. It reduces in size and tightens up as it goes over that barb fitting on the elbow here. So that will work nicely. Let me see. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I've got this here. I didn't really know exactly how it was going to fit in there, but this is going to be better for me to get a 90-degree PEX fitting so that I can screw it in and then have the fitting coming up 90 degrees right off the valve, and that'll get me a couple of inches in closer to the wall where I want it to be. So that will take care of that. And so I just have a couple of pieces of cloth over the pipes so that it no stinkum in the morning when I come back out to finish up. Okay, and then what do we have here? Why, it's Poppy. Hi, Poppy. We got a sleepy little girl here. Hi, baby. What a good girl. What a good girl. Don't kiss my hands. I've got junk all over them, so I don't want you licking my hands. She is a little sweetie. Okay, that's it for today. And we'll finish this up tomorrow, second half of the video. All right. All right, welcome back to the second half of the video on installing a hot water recirculating circuit for your hot water in the truck camper or in the RV. And let me show you how the completed job looks. All right, let's climb under the sink here. So we have the sink is pulled out, and this here was the key to it, getting a T-fitting up under the kitchen sink faucet. Let me see if I can get down there a little farther. Okay, so here's the faucet here, and this here is called a swivel T. So it's got PEX, and then 1/2-inch female pipe thread here, screws onto the bottom of the faucet, and then there's a through line for the PEX. And then the other side of the faucet, the cold, was right in line with this, so I needed to add that 90-degree elbow, and actually that elbow came from the hot. Originally just went down and into the pipe there, but so I brought the elbow in here, added another three-way PEX T over there. You can see that, and so that kind of got the cold water shifted out of the way of the hot. Here's our lovely assistant, Poppy. Poppy, hey, psst, Poppy. She just is so obedient, really knows her name. Hey girl, here, say hi. Say hi. There you go. Okay, so the hot water comes over here into a shark bite 90-degree angle. And then there is a shark bite fitting on the stainless steel solenoid valve. And there's actually one on each side of it. And then PEX going down below. And the PEX drops down below here. And you can see the tape on the PEX there. And what I did for the PEX, it has some metal formed corners, 90-degree turns, and so I put a formed 90-degree turn under the sink there and another formed 90-degree turn here, and that way there are no connections. It just bends and holds the PEX pipe in position. Okay, then we come down here, and this is where we connect into the existing water system. So what I did was I pulled out the pipe that comes out with the valve. The valve was over here, and I needed the T to be on this side of the valve. So to get the room, I turned the valve around over to that side, and then I cut the pipe that was here, took out about 1 inch of it, because that's how much the PEX T is going to use without making the line over here extend into the wall. And the hot water returns down into the PEX, and it cannot go out through the drain valve because the valve is closed, but it will go back into the main tank. So that works out very, very nicely. Then let's go over here and take a look at the electrical part of it. So here is our control valve, and this here is a 10 amp rated momentary switch with an LED, and I wired it so that the LED is on when you press in, and you'll hear the pump kicks on, and the pump continues running until the pressure builds back up. So over here you can hear the solenoid switch. Okay, so it's only on when I hold the button in. So all you need to do is hold the button in for 5 or 10 seconds, and that will bring hot water up to your sink, and then you do not have to let water run into either a pot or a bucket or anything to use for other purposes. You can just push the button, run it for 10 seconds. It brings hot water up from the water heater, and presto, you've got hot water at the faucet. So I'm really looking forward to using this, because I bet that I'm going to lose or gain a day of camping every week because of the amount of water we save. Because I figure it's at least somewhere between a pint and a quart of water that we use every time we want hot water to wash our hands or wash dishes or something. But you always have to wait for the hot water to get there, and in the meantime you've got cold water running, flowing down into your gray tank. And you can save that water for toilet flushes and all that, but you know, that's just stuff I don't want to do. So I'll push the button again here, and you'll hear the pump kick on. And that's about all we need to get hot water up to the kitchen sink. And so as a demonstrator, I'm going to hold a pot of water up to the pot here, and we're going to run the pot for 5 seconds. All right, so here we go. Let's get 5 seconds of hot water running. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there you go. That's a pretty fair amount of water, and that is water that is no longer going to be wasted. So now I just got to put, clutch, watch your step. I need to put a piece of insulation on here. You see I have all the pipes are insulated, and to pressure check the pipe I hooked up the city water, because that's going to have typically a higher pressure than what the RV pressure is going to be. And so I had it hold about for half an hour, and no leaks, and that's a good thing. And so what do we got for cost here? That was like $10. The angle, not the angle, but the other tee was another $10. Then the pump was $42, and the PEX fittings, I think I paid $80 for all of the PEX fittings that I used, but a bunch of them I'm going to return. I think I only actually ended up using 1, 2, 3, 4. I used a T, a 90, and 2 male pipe thread to 1/2-inch PEX couplers. And so that's probably like about $40 of fittings. And so then also I have this here one leftover extra. I don't remember what this came off of, but we no longer needed this. Yeah, that's what it is. This is the one that came off of the cold, and so I used the 90-degree for that, and then the regular 3-way PEX T over on the other side to run the cold water straight on through there. So for wiring, we went into the back of the fuse box, and there was a extra couple of circuits in there. So you see I've got a 10 amp fuse, or I guess it's a 15 amp fuse down at the end, and then I've got some 14 gauge underground cable that I used for the wiring. It's low voltage wire, so it'll work just dandy for in here. You see it right there. It's tough stuff, so I'm not going to worry about it. But yeah, 16 or 14 gauge stranded wire. It's good wire, and it powers the pump. And then I've got the pump wires are inside of some split loom, and then the wires are tucked up under here. They come across and over to here, and then I've got this switch. You have to wire up the switch a special way to get it so that the LED comes on when you push in and then is normally off. And then you can also wire it so that it is normally on, or on all the time, or never on, depending on what your needs are. So what else we got going here? Yeah, I guess that's it. So just in a quick review, you see how we have the plumbing comes up here, moving the plumbing from the right side over here to the left side. The green is the fill hose. These are the two hot and cold lines there. Actually, one is the city line into the tank, and the other one is the cold line that goes back to the water heater. And then the cold line up here comes back forward from a grouping of connections back at the water heater. So I need to get the step put back on. I need to put the oven back in. I need to take the oven out so that I can reach this wing nut, and I need to take the breaker panel out so that I can reach this wing nut to hold the sink down. And then otherwise it's not too tough to connect everything. Okay, so yeah, I'm very, very happy with this. It's working very nicely. See that? I just saved another pint or quart of water right there. Water that went, cold water that went back into the fresh tank instead of down the drain. Okay, we are going to time how long it takes for hot water to get to the sink here. This is the first time, so I'm going to turn this and start the timer at the same time. And 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, so we have hot water at about 6 seconds. Okay, now I'm going to go over here . Turn on the light and open the door. Then we're going to push the switch, and I'm going to see if I can feel when hot water hits over here. Okay. Okay. So it's another 4 or 5 seconds for hot water to get to that point. So close this back up. Some people were concerned that hot water would get into the fresh tank, but that is pretty much not going to happen. So there's how much water we got running the faucet until we got hot. And let's see here, kind of gauge off of a plastic cup how much water is in there. Hi, Poppy. That's my helper cat. Okay, well that is 2 cups. That's a 16-ounce solo cup. So 2 cups of water, half a quart. So that could easily turn into, over the course of a week, that could easily turn into a couple of gallons of water that would just be going down your drain into the gray tank, and that's not productive. So there you go. This works out really well. I got the water, I just press the button, pump kicks on, then I release the button, and then when the system pressurizes up again, the pump shuts off. So it's a good deal. And once again, just looking under here, you can see there is the pump over there, and there is the T that makes it all possible, buried up behind there now. Okay, hi Poppy, there's a good girl. Alright, well good, now I can get back to cleaning up the truck camper. So, very good project. I'm very happy with this. It will definitely, it could add up to a whole nother day of camping and maybe more, just because we're recirculating and saving water from the hot side. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it gives you some good, useful information. I know there were quite a few people that were asking me to put this video together when I did the project, so here it is. So I'm going to give you just a real quick little summary of what we did. Now it's a little bit hard to see because everything is reassembled here, but we had the 90-degree over here on the hot, which were removed, and then we had a T over here on the cold. So the most efficient way I could have done this is to have taken the T from the cold and put it on the hot, and then that would have just run straight across over here, just the way we have it going right now. And then the 90-degree that was on the hot, remember I had to put it over on the cold to a 3-way PEX T, so that it was offset from the hot, so that they could run parallel to each other. And so here is the cold line comes down on the left side, and the hot side is coming down through that stainless steel solenoid valve. And remember, that valve is directional, so you have to check and make sure which way the arrow points and install it so that the flow of the water is going with the arrow, okay? And then, so we routed the wire or the plumbing down through here, and you can just see the turn of the pipe there. You see the black tape on the pipe, and that has that metal formed elbow on it. And then we had another formed elbow in here. And then we took apart that section there from the tank over to the elbow, and we took the valve and turned it around to the other side so that the new PEX T could come down where it is now, and that lets us flow the water back into the tank. Okay, so that is basically what we did here. It took us, I was able to reuse the 2 parts off of the sink, the T and the elbow, and then buy 1 additional plastic PEX T. Then over here we bought the valve and the 3 PEX fittings over on this side, the 2 half-inch pipe, male pipe connectors, 2 half-inch PEX, and then a 90-degree PEX elbow. Then over here is the switch location, and we wired the switch in, and we had to buy some underground cable 16 gauge or 14 gauge cable, and that was a 75-foot roll for, I think it was $50 or something. And so here's the button on this side, and the button is, the LED is off, and when you press it, the LED comes on, and that way the LED is on when the switch is live. So that made sense to me. And so when you push the button, it opens the valve and the pressure drops, which kicks on the pump and sends water through the system. And then you let the button go, the valve closes, and then the pressure builds back up, and then the pump senses that it's back up to pressure and it shuts off. So it works out very nicely. I'm very happy with the system, and so it ended up, I used fewer parts than what I really needed to, so I've got a few things that I need to return. Let's see, I did buy another one of these because I thought I was going to need two. So I've got a new one that's on the hot now, and this is the one that came off the cold. So I could have just taken this and put it on the hot, and then used a new PEX T connecting to the 90-degree elbow that came off the cold. So I could have saved a little bit of money after figuring things out and doing things more efficiently. This here is the switch that I got. It's a peel or a pile, whatever it is, 3-year warranty, and I used this method for wiring the switch. You see here, switch connection to normally open pin. Press the light, press the button, LED light comes on, and so that is the wiring method that I used for the switch. And there's 3 other ways to wire the switch in, and that was the way that worked for me. This here is the wire that I used. So it's a 14-2 landscape low voltage cable. The truck camper is 12 volts, so perfect. This is the insulation that I bought. It's the denser foam Armacell Armaflex 2550 5/8 inside diameter, 1/2 inch nominal wall, R 3.4. So it has a better R rating than the other foam pipe. And then this here is just the diagram of the setup again. So we have the freshwater tank. Water goes to the pump. The pump senses low pressure when you turn on the switch, so it pumps through the water heater up to the sink, and it just bypasses right through the sink in that new line to the solenoid valve. Make sure the valve has the directional arrow going the right way, and it comes back down here, and this one here connects up to the drain connection. And remember, we moved the valve for the drain out farther so that I could get a T in here. But you could also, I didn't have space to put it here, but you could have also put it in the section of pipe coming from the tank to the pump. And what that would do is pump the water from the bypass line directly back through the pump and recirculate that way, so that it would have minimal mixing into the freshwater tank. And so that would probably be the better way to do it. The only downside is that your water pump may not like the hot water from the water heater. So there's kind of a trade-off here and there, but the water is you're only running the water until it's hot at the kitchen sink, so it only gets hot down at the fresh tank if you continue holding the button for, in this case, 12 or 14 seconds. So that concludes this project. I'm very happy with it, looking forward to getting out and trying it out up in the forest, out in the desert, and I figure that over the course of a week, I should be able to get an extra day of camping in, because I will save about 3 gallons, 2 or 3 gallons from going down the drain into the gray tank, because I don't have to waste water to get hot water at the sink now. I just press the bypass, the button, turn on the valve, water goes through, and I have hot water and nothing gets wasted. So it's a good system. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give it a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want more videos like this, camping videos, how-to videos, construction videos, all kinds of good stuff. Travel videos, a favorite. And don't forget to subscribe. All right, see you on the next video. Bye-bye.